Okay, hi everybody. My name is Dana Trupiano. This is not a video, it's a live. I'm getting ready to record a video, and I don't think many people are going to come into this live because it's 1 o'clock in the morning. So I'm just going to get ready because, I haven't done a video this week. I feel bad, so I just want to put something onto YouTube. So you guys can come hang out. If anybody comes in and wants to talk, I'd be more than happy to. If not, I'm just going to get ready, and I will get ready to do this video. Oh, hi, Lisa. How are you? Okay, so we are going to start because I just have really bad insomnia. Guess who has nothing to do with when I am. Yeah, same here. I have really bad insomnia. And so I went out last night, and then I came home and I was working on this, I was working on these pictures, and I didn't want to go to sleep. So I didn't go to sleep until 10 o'clock in the morning for the night. And then I ended up waking up for the day at I don't know, fucking really late, really, I woke up at 7, 8 o'clock at night. And I'm like, okay, I guess I might as well get ready and do a video. And now is just the first time that I got up because guess what? I'm a useless piece of shit. Hi, Najina. How are you? I wish that I had my life together a lot more than I do. But I do not, okay? Everything about my life is a train wreck right now. So, waking up at all hours of the night and starting to get ready at 1 o'clock in the morning is just the norm for me now. And honestly, I think it's a little easier for me to record a video in the middle of the night because, I live in the suburbs. So, during the night, you're not going to see any, lawnmowers or super loud noises outside. So it does make it a little easier, which is how I justify myself because I need a way to tell myself that I'm not the worst human being in the world. So that's what I tell myself. Richard Kuklinski movie was this 90% Hollywood? Yeah, so as far as Richard Kuklinski, I don't know. Honestly, I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know what was in the movie. I really focused a lot more on the documentary side of Richard Kuklinski. So I saw all of his interviews from prison and all that kind of stuff. I didn't really go and see a scripted movie that was played by an actor. I really didn't have any interest in that. When I did the video, all the research I did was watching the HBO documentaries that he did and just researching all the FBI files and everything. So I can't really say anything as far as how accurate the movie was. And as far as the sleep schedule, it probably does take that long. I mean, I have in my life had good sleep schedules. I just don't right now because, as I said, I try to be up at night to do videos and stuff. That's a lame excuse because I really haven't recorded a video in 2 weeks. But I don't know. I don't really have much going on in my life, and I tend to be a piece of shit when I don't have much going on. So, GRWM, get ready with me. I live in insomnia burbs, so these work for me. Yeah, exactly. So it's a lot easier to get stuff done at night because I start recording during the day and I got lawnmowers, weed whackers, trucks going and coming, and trains and all kinds of stuff that's just going to be super loud. So it's just a lot easier to do it this way. But again, I haven't recorded a video in 2 weeks. So I'm sitting here and I'm telling you that. And I'm also going to tell you I'm a fucking liar because I haven't made a video in 2 weeks. So why would my sleep schedule be correspondent with the way that I record? It just is, I suck, whatever. Yeah. But I did go out yesterday and I had probably one of the funnest times I've ever had in my life going out. So I don't really feel too bad about the fact that I slept all day today. I think I told you guys the last time I did a live that I got my dad for Father's Day. I got him tickets to go see Hamilton, and I made reservations at Sparks Steakhouse. Now, I have always done that. Like, all of my presents, I never give anybody, like, I never go buy like a computer for someone or anything like that. All the presents that I get people are like experiences. Like, I'll get tickets to a Broadway show, or I'll get like, oh, we're gonna go out and we're gonna go to lunch or dinner, or we're gonna go do this fun thing. That's the presents that I always give, because I'm very much so like, don't get me wrong, I shop like a freaking addict, but I'm very much so like, I value experiences over physical things. So when I'm providing a present for somebody, I want to give them something that I think that they're going to enjoy and remember. So that is my MO. I'm sure people appreciate that more than a cool shirt. Yeah. So, what did you do? Yeah. So my dad actually, he said to me yesterday, he's like, you always give the coolest presents in the world. You never give like, a fucking printer or anything like that. Like, you always give really cool presents. It's always like a Broadway show or something really cool. I'm like, yeah, like, it's hard to say like I'm not materialistic, because I definitely am. I shop like it's going out of style. I have 50 Amazon packages coming to my door every day. I have Balenciaga and Givenchy sweatshirts and t-shirts out the ass. So I am definitely materialistic. However, it's not what I value. I just go and get that kind of stuff because I want to have it for videos. I like having material stuff, but when it comes to stuff that's important to me and what I think is important to other people, it's always experiences. So yeah, I've had really good feedback from other people. Actually, the Broadway show and dinner combo, that's kind of like been my go-to. The last present I gave was, I went out to Manhattan. I was also to Sparks, but my dad didn't go that time. That's why I brought him yesterday. And we went and saw Harry Potter and the Cursed Child the last time. But yesterday, I went to see Hamilton, and it was amazing. Oh my God, I've seen so many Broadway shows, and Hamilton was the best thing I've ever seen live in my life. Like, I cannot say enough good things about Hamilton. I was blown away. So if you guys ever are in the New York area and you're looking for something to do, go see Hamilton on Broadway. It is amazing. You can see my track. I don't like that. Oh well. I don't think any of you guys really mind, hopefully. I saw Blue Man Group, Cats, and Miss Saigon. So, Blue Man Group, that was going on at the same time as like, blue, right? I never saw the show. Cats, I heard of, and I heard really good things, but I never saw it. That was more like before my time. I started doing Broadway shows when I was like, I don't know, 24, 25. So that is, Cats was already way off the air. I know that when I was growing up, my friends were really crazy about the Broadway show Rent, and they never went to see it, but it was out on like video. So like, I remember all my friends used to be crazy about watching the video of the Broadway show of Cats. So, but I really couldn't get into it. I not Cats. I'm sorry. Rent. I think I said Rent, but I don't remember. They were obsessed with Rent. And they used to like sing all the songs from Rent, and like, it was a big deal. I never got into Rent. I didn't like it. So, I never thought I would be into Broadway shows, but then I don't know, I got older and I knew my dad was into it. So I started bringing him for like presents. I'd bring him to like, I went to Lion King with him. I went to Les Miserables. I went to, so, you get the picture. I would go places, Beauty and the Beast. So yeah, and then with going with him, I kind of discovered that I really loved it. So yeah, I started going outside of the box, and every person that I give a present to was like, oh, we're going to go to a Broadway show. We'll go to a really nice steakhouse. And it just so happens that the last 2 steakhouses that I've brought people to has been Sparks, because I like Sparks. It just has such like an old-timey mafia feel. Like you go in there and I could totally see a lot of the people there being like in the mafia, and that's like kind of my thing. I don't know if you guys know, but I don't even know if it's the mafia thing. I don't know. I like I like places that have history behind them. It's like I love to see a place that you can kind of feel the things that that place has been through. And I go to Sparks and I stand outside the door, and you can kind of feel the magnitude of like, oh shit, this is where what's his face, Paul Castellano, was killed. And like how many mafia dinners have been held here that have made decisions about the entire future of the mafia. Like I just think that's the coolest thing in the world. So that's why I love that place in particular. I know that there's other places that kind of have the same amount of history, but that's just the one that's been my go-to. I'm not much of a fan of how they portrayed Aaron Burr. Hamilton? So I'm surprised to hear that, because I think that they portrayed Aaron Burr as a very good person. Like he is the one that killed Hamilton, but I do think that they portray him as a very like professional, has his life together kind of person. And even he is he's always telling Hamilton like, yo, slow down, like stop being so obnoxious, chill the fuck out. And I really admire that in a person. So I never saw a problem with how they portrayed him. What do you think is bad about how they portrayed him? I've never put on makeup, but watching you do it while talking is fascinating. Yeah, so I actually have, I look like a moron right now. I actually have a secret skill, and one of my secret skills is that I can literally apply makeup doing anything. And don't get me wrong, I'm an idiot. Like I am so bad at doing makeup that like every time I put a video on YouTube, there's at least one person on every single one of my videos that's like, yikes, your makeup looks really bad. And I'm like, oh, but I really thought I did good this time. So I'm not great at it. But I can do it doing anything. Like I've had a lot of people that are super, super, super impressed by the fact that I can put makeup on in a moving car, because I spent so many years working in Manhattan, but commuting by car. So like I really got used to not getting ready when I wake up in the morning and just getting ready on the drive. And I swear to God, the apocalypse could be going on around me and I will be able to put my makeup on during it. So yeah, I could definitely talk, and you put me in a car going 70 miles an hour and swerving around and I could still do my makeup in it. But at the end of the day, whether I'm sitting still or moving, I am not great at makeup, and there will always be somebody around to remind me of that. So that's super cool. But yeah, like, and I'm not even exaggerating. If you go through my YouTube, you go look at every single one of my videos, you'll never see one full video that you can't find at least one person pointing out the fact that my makeup is really bad. And this last one, the Anastasia part 3, I want to say, the one that I had the green makeup on, I was like, yes, I did such a good job on this. Nobody's going to be able to say anything about my makeup this time. Like I did really good. There's no flaws at all. If anybody could find a flaw, you're insane. And nobody put anything bad about it on the video. And I'm like, oh my God, yes, like I am the ruler of the world. Nobody can hold a candle to how good I am at makeup. Whoop, whoop. I finally figured it out. And then I put a short out and somebody commented on the short saying that my makeup was really bad. So it made me a little sad, but that's okay. My eyebrows look really, really dark right now, but that's only because I don't have makeup on. It'll look better when I have, like, eyeshadow and stuff. I've only seen clips, so I don't know. I've only read a few books on him in Hamilton, but from what I've seen, which is effectively nothing, it seems like they made him smug and more out for Hamilton than he was. I don't think so. So, here's a little tip. I'll give you some homework. Hamilton is on Hulu, and it's an amazing show. I really, really recommend that if you aren't able to go see the show live, go on Hulu and watch it because it's really good. And I don't see the way that they portrayed him as smug. I think it was more like reserved. He was very, like, even from a young age, where Hamilton was kind of like going off and doing whatever. He had no polish to him. Burr was very like polished and together and sophisticated and just like, I don't know. But he was also very jealous of Hamilton. And I do kind of see that could be the truth, because Hamilton never went to college. He never really, like, I think he got a few credits in college, but he never really did anything with himself. And he just kept progressing and progressing and progressing. And personally, for me, if I saw somebody that like I started off with and they didn't go to college, they didn't do anything, and they're just always out there being obnoxious and making a fool of themselves, and they're progressing further than me, I'm going to be upset about that. So I don't look at Burr as like a bad character, because I look at him as like, I would feel the same exact way. If I'm sitting there and I'm starting out at the same place at the same time as Hamilton, and Hamilton's an obnoxious little jerk, and he's out there just saying what he wants, doing what he wants, and acting like a moron, and I'm like, yo, chill, like reserved and like got myself together. I don't get in trouble. I don't say anything mean to anybody, but he's progressing further than I am. I'm going to be jealous. I'm going to be mad. I'm not going to lie. So I don't look at Burr as a bad character. But yeah, if you are interested in it, you should go. So that wasn't putting makeup on. No, I am putting makeup on. I just haven't put my eyeshadow on yet. So yeah, if you're interested, go watch it on Hulu. It's really good. No, let's not do this. Let's do eyeshadow first. But da 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 da. Sorry guys, I'm looking for a brush to put my eyeshadow on, and I have this big drawer that has everything that I use for my makeup in it, and sometimes I have to dig through it in order to get whatever it is that I'm looking for. So it takes me a minute, so just give me 1 sec. I don't really want to use that one, but I can. Ugh. Why is this difficult? You just want a brush. Jesus. This is difficult. All right. This brush it is. It's not my preferred brush, but it'll do the job. Ugh. Okay. Hi, Ganis. I'm not getting ready to go out. I am getting ready to make a video. So I woke up at like 7 o'clock at night. I'm getting ready to make a video, and I'll probably be going to sleep at 10, 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. So yeah, I didn't put a video out this week because I've been really sick and I've had some medical stuff going on. So I figured I would do a live while I record this video, since the video I record tonight isn't going to go out until like next week, not this Tuesday, but next Tuesday. I figured I'd come on live and just hang out with people, see if anybody wanted to chat. I kind of assumed I was going to be on my own. I'm really happy that you guys came and that you're talking, because I was like, there's no way at, 1:13 in the morning on, I don't even know what day it is. What day is it? I think it's Monday. Yeah, Monday morning, that anybody's going to be around and want to hang out and talk. So I'm really happy that I've got some fellow insomniacs in the world. But yeah, I'm getting ready to do a video. I love how you always put so much effort into your makeup. Thank you. I appreciate it. I definitely do put a lot of effort in. I can't say that that means anything because it still ends up coming out bad a lot of the time. But I do put a lot of effort. Okay. It just doesn't. I've never been a girly girl. I am. Why is my. I am someone. I was in. Hang on, guys. I gotta fix this. Okay. I was in the Army, and that will tell you a little bit about the kind of girl that I am. And don't get me wrong. In the Army, there was a lot of girly girls that loved to do their makeup and do their nails and stuff, but that was just never me. I've always been more of like, I don't know, laid back, like go with the flow. I'm not really trying to do my makeup, but I have to do my makeup for these videos. I would look like an idiot if I didn't, even though I don't really do it great and I get made fun of every single video for the way that I do it. I know at the end of the day that I put all the effort that I possibly can into it. So whatever. Hello Kitty Brass Knuckles. Yes. Hello Kitty Brass Knuckles. They are laying on my bed with my dog right now. I actually brought them out last night because I put my Louis Vuitton wallet onto it, which is where, because I used to have a thing on my phone, like you can see I still got some residue. I used to have like a little wallet on my phone that had like my CAC and my credit cards and everything. And it started to get gross. There was like hair in between the phone and the wallet. So I'm like, you know what? Screw this. I'm not doing this anymore. I took it off and now I put it in the wallet. So I put the wallet onto the keys because I'm like, I want to always have it. And plus, like, I could so see myself losing that wallet if it's just like this tiny little thing. The internet is mean. Why is the internet mean? Oh, yeah, with the saying that I suck. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people say that if you don't have people being mean to you, then you don't matter to anybody. And I always try to think of that every time I've got people just being unnecessarily vicious and saying like nasty, rude, mean stuff to me. I'm like, you know what? Everybody says that if you don't have people being mean to you, you don't matter. So thanks for validating the fact that I matter, I guess. I don't fucking know. I don't know. I try not to say and do very divisive things. So if the meanest thing that you can come up with is the fact that I can't do my makeup, like I'll take it, If that's the worst thing about me and the biggest insult that you can come up with towards me, I will definitely take that, because you're not saying that the information that I'm putting out there is incorrect. You're not saying that I'm a piece of shit or blah blah blah. You're saying that I can't do my makeup. And as a veteran and somebody that spent time in the military crawling through ditches and shit, like I really could give a shit if I could do my makeup well. I put a lot of effort into it because I want to look nice in the videos, but it doesn't matter to me. I really don't care. So, 'tis what it is. And that is okay. So, I've been like justifying to myself, like, oh, I haven't wanted to record this video because I've had a lot of medical stuff going on. And I really haven't wanted to get out of bed, which I really haven't. Like, I really have been just under the weather and like feeling like shit all the time. And I've used that as like a justification for why I haven't made a video. But if I'm being honest, I haven't made a video because I really don't want to record this video. I really don't. Like, and that's the video that I'm recording is of a Russian mafia member, and I really just don't care. I really just don't care. Like, I am very into the Italian mafia. There's certain criminals that I'm interested in, but like this Russian mafia dude, I really don't care about him. It's going to be hard to pronounce all the names. It's just, I feel like it's not going to be my best episode. And that's okay. Like, every episode doesn't have to be my best episode, but I can't motivate myself to make the actual video, which leads to like weeks at a time that I'm not recording anything because I'm sitting here like, I don't wanna. So that's why I'm live right now, because I was like, you know what? If I go live, it will make me get ready, and then I'll want to record. And you know what? Even if it's not the best video I ever put out, it'll be something that I put out. But I have scripts that are like literally just collecting dust. Like, I have entire episodes written that I haven't made because it's just not a subject that interests me. And that's so bad. Like, I have, hang on, I'll read for you guys what I have. I have Simoin Mogilevich. That's the one that I'm recording tonight. I have one on O.J. Simpson, one on Angelo Leonardo, and one on the bailout. I also have an entire episode done on El Chapo. But yeah, I haven't made them because it's just, I do all the research and I get interested while I'm doing it. But once I'm done doing it, I'm just like, ugh, like, I really don't. If I'm not interested in it, how are the people that are watching my videos going to be interested? You know, like, it's just, I don't know. I love your energy, Dana, and by watching your videos, it's not only great entertainment and informative, your energy and positivity helps make my stress. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you so much, Ganis. Anxiety is definitely something that I have always struggled with. I have, like, as far as mental health goes, I have every single mental health thing that you can have. I have clinical and major depressive disorder. I have anxiety and regular depression and PTSD and all, the gamut. I have bipolar. I have borderline personality disorder. So I know how it is to have mental shit go on and just need a reprieve from it. So that's what I try to do. I really appreciate you saying that, because I don't really get people recognizing that so much. And that's one of the major things that matters to me, is that I have gone through mental illness, and I want to be something that could just keep your mind off of that for a while. So I'm happy to hear that helps in that way for you. How do you do makeup without a mirror? I do have a mirror. It's right here. I wish that I could do it without a mirror. That would be epic. And sometimes when I'm recording, I'll even use the camera as a mirror. Like, I'll be sitting here like doing this and doing whatever in the camera. But yeah, I have a mirror right here. I get the most random songs for no reason stuck in my head. And all day today, for some reason, I've had the song head, shoulders, knees and toes, and eyes and ears and mouth and nose. Head, shoulders, knees and toes. And then that stuck in my head all day today. And I don't know why. Well, all day. Again, I woke up at 7 o'clock at night and it's 1 o'clock in the morning. So all day to me has been like not that many hours. But yesterday, as I'm walking through Manhattan, because like, okay, so we went to, we went to dinner and then we went to the show. And I am somebody that I'm a little bit obnoxious, and like I don't mess with people. I don't say anything or like offend anybody or anything, but like I really, when I'm out, I don't really have a problem with like singing and dancing and just like, making a moron out of myself. So I was walking down the street and I heard a song. I don't even remember what the song was, but I heard somebody like playing a song in their car as I'm walking down the street in Manhattan, and I'm sitting there and I'm like dancing to it and I'm jamming. And then I keep walking and I'm like, bro, I look over at my dad. I'm like, why is everybody staring at me? Like literally I'm walking down the street and every human being is just looking at me. And he's like, well, because you're being obnoxious. I'm like, I'm not being obnoxious. I'm just singing. But yeah, I guess when you're singing and dancing and kind of making a spectacle out of yourself, everybody looks at you. But yeah, I've always had that problem though. And I think it's a lot of it's in my head, but a lot of it isn't. Like you go out with me and for some reason I always feel like I have something on my face or something because people always like look at me. And I'm like, maybe like I don't know. I always chalk it up to I have a chest. And a lot of people are like, you're kind of skinny. It doesn't really fit. But yeah, it's not the greatest feeling to like go out and have everybody. It feels like everybody's like looking at you, like, and I know it's not me because other people that I'm with see it too. Like yesterday, we're watching Hamilton, and they're performing it, and on like two separate occasions, the actor that's playing Hamilton, he'll like pick somebody in the audience and just like nothing serious, just like talk to them, like point at them and like, just like he doesn't call them up or anything, but like is talking. And I was that person yesterday, and I'm always the person in the crowd that like I remember when I was a kid, I was 14 years old, and I had always dreamed of doing modeling. And like I did do modeling for a while. I walked on 4 different New York Fashion Week runways. But at one point, it was before I had done any New York runways, and I was in the mall, and I don't know if you guys have ever been in the mall. You look perfect. Thank you so much. I know I hate getting those kind of songs stuck in your head. So yeah, I'm 14. I'm in the mall. I'm just chilling. Now, mind you, I'm really tall. Like I know it doesn't come across on this screen, but I'm 5'9", and that's like tall, especially for somebody that's got like a really skinny stature. I've always been really, really thin and really, really tall. And I'm 14. I'm in the mall, and this girl, I guess she's like a recruiter, comes up and she's like, oh my God, you could so be a model. And I'm like, oh my God, that's my dream. That's exactly what I want to do with my life. Thank you so much. So she tells me that she's having this like seminar at a hotel nearby and I should come because I would be really good in the modeling industry. And greatest thing you could say to me at 14 years old is I could make you a model, right? So I'm like, I tell my mom, like, we're going to this seminar. That is going to happen. How tall am I? I'm 5'9". I'm 5'9" in like not metric. So I know it's 169 centimeters, I want to say. So tall. I'm tall for a girl. So yeah, I tell my mom that I'm going, and we go to this, and I go with my friend. Her name was Cassie, and we go to this this seminar that this modeling girl is having. So it turns out it's a thing for a modeling school, and like you go to this school, and they teach you how to do all the runway walks and how to like pose for photos and stuff. It is really tall. I'm really tall, like, and it's been a problem my whole life. But for the modeling industry, it's really good. So So yeah, I'm at this seminar. They're talking about how they could teach you, blah, blah, blah. So I'm sitting there minding my goddamn business as always. And the girl chooses me out of the crowd. And she's like, "Hey, you, come up." I'm like, "No, not gonna happen. I'm not moving." She's like, "No, get up here." I was like, "Fine." So I go up there and I'm like looking at the crowd, and she's like, "This girl is absolutely gorgeous, isn't she?" Now, mind you, at 14 years old, I had really crooked teeth. And I don't know if I had gotten braces by then, but after a while I did get braces, but we never did anything about it. So I just had like the pieces of the braces on my teeth. So I was always really self-conscious about smiling or talking. I didn't like it because I didn't get my teeth straight until I was like 22 and paid for it on my own. Okay. Not great. So she brings me up to the front and she's sitting there and she's like, "Okay, um, what I want you to do is I want you to do," and I have no idea to this day, I don't remember. But she tells me to do this special walk, like do like a I don't know, Brazilian catwalk and then pied a terre at the end of the aisle. And then, and I'm just sitting there and she's like, "Okay, so go do it." I'm like, "I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about." And we're in front of like 150 people. And she literally picked me out of the crowd to humiliate me, knowing I wouldn't know that. She knows for nobody knows that unless you've gone to the school. And the point that she was making is this girl is absolutely gorgeous, but because she doesn't know what these like walks are, she won't get a job. And I'm like, "But you could have done that without embarrassing me." Like that was a dick move, like not really great. But and ever since that, like honestly, I've always been the person that like if there's a crowd of 150 people and they need a volunteer, it's gonna be me. Even if I don't raise my hand, they're gonna choose me because of the I have always attributed it to my hair. I've always had very long, bright hair, and I'm just kind of like when you're looking at a crowd, I'm kind of one that sticks out because again, I'm tall. I have bleach blonde hair most of the time. Um, so yeah, I just stick out, but it's not a great feeling sometimes to be the person that sticks out. I mean, first world problems. I feel like I'm sitting here and complaining about, "Oh, I just have too much money." Like no, I get that I am privileged to look halfway decent. There's people that don't. I'm obviously there's people that are a kabillion freaking times prettier and whatever than me, but I'm privileged to be halfway decent looking. So, but it still sucks when you're somebody that has anxiety and depression and all this, and everywhere you go, you feel like people are like side eyeing you. It's not a great feel. But yeah, it's okay. And make it work. I used to be a lot more outgoing than I am now. Like when I would say I stopped being so like outgoing and friendly when out in public. Like I would say I was like, I don't know, late 20s, honestly, because I was always the type that was like if there was no one dancing, I'd be the one like, "Yeah, let's dance. Woo!" Like I always tried to I don't know. And maybe it's obnoxious. I don't know. But I always tried to be that person. And like when I was in high school, I was always really good friends with like the people that weren't popular. The people that got bullied, and that kind of led to me trying like I would have friends. I had friends that were popular and had friends, and I would take the people that weren't popular and I'd be like, "Oh, come hang out with my friends so that you're not getting bullied." If somebody was getting bullied, like I can't count the number of times I've gotten into physical altercations and got suspended from school and hurt somebody because I know that that person was bullying somebody. And I don't like that stuff. Like I've hit somebody in the face with a textbook before, like done really bad things because I don't like people bullying people. So, yeah, I'm sure it was absolutely appreciated. I have friends like that and everyone loves them. Um, maybe. I don't know. I the reason the reason that I try to stay away from doing videos during, like, I don't know if you guys have ever noticed, I'm sure you haven't, but I make 3 videos and then I skip a video, 3 videos and I skip a video. And there is a reason for that, okay? I do not do videos during a certain time of the month because I get all up in my feelings. And this past month, I had an epiphany that nobody has ever liked me before ever. And I got really upset about it. And I don't know why. I'm older, like I'm Gucci. I don't need nobody anymore, you know? But when I was a kid, I was the one, I think my whole life, honestly, I've always been the person that it's like, if there's like, if there's a person that has to be left out, it's always going to be me. And I got really messed up over that this month. And I don't know why. It's not something that I ever, like, I don't have the need to go back and think about that, but I did. And I was like, no, like, I don't know why people don't like me. It's for some reason, a lot of people will just take one look at me and just hate me. Like, and I'm talking vitriolic hate. It's not like, just like, oh, I don't like that. Like, I'm talking when me and my husband, when we first started hanging, because I've known him since I'm like 5. We went to elementary school together. But when we first started hanging out, and this is in 2013, I went to a party. I had a boyfriend. My boyfriend was living with me. And I go to this party because me and my boyfriend, we had broken up. We are not doing well, but we were that kind of couple that broke up, got back together, broke up, got back together. But we weren't doing well. We had broken up, and I was like tired of him playing his video games all the time, and I'm sitting by myself all the time, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, I'm going to a party. So I go to a party, and I see my now husband. And I'm sitting on the couch the entire party, the entire thing. I'm sitting on the couch, minding my business by myself, not talking to anybody, hanging out with the dog. Because one thing about me, if you see me at a party, I will always be the one sitting with the dog. Okay. So I'm sitting with the dog, minding my own goddamn business. And then everybody's like playing beer pong and stuff. But I'm just like, I'm not talking to anybody, but I don't want to go home because I'm fighting with my boyfriend and I don't want anything to do with being there. So I'm just like, all right, I'll just sit here and hang out with the dog. The person that was throwing the party, me and him had a history, and he always had like a thing for me, and we never got together or anything, but his girlfriend at the time knew it, and it was at his party. So the girlfriend of this party hates my guts. I haven't done anything. I'm not a threat. I don't want your man, but she hates me, and it is what it is. There's nothing I could do about that, right? So I'm sitting there, everybody's playing beer pong, and I lay on the couch. And this kid, his name was Alex. I have been friends with Alex since diapers, like not diapers, but a long time. So Alex comes over, and I have my head on the couch. He picks my head up and puts my head on his lap. And he's just like bullshitting with me because like I'm covering the entire couch. If I'm not on him, he's not on the couch. So I don't mind. Alex is a friend of mine. I've never hooked up with him, never anything. So having my head on his lap is no big deal to me. So as I'm laying there, my husband now, he stops playing beer pong, and we had been bullshitting. Like, he said that he wanted to go to Ultra, and I was like, oh, I love going to like raves and stuff. I went to EDC and EZU for 10 years. Like, so he stops playing beer pong towards the end of the night, and he jumps on top of me, and he's like on top of me, and we're just like joking around playing. And again, not somebody I've ever hooked up with, no history or whatever. But while that's happening, these 3 girls decide that I'm a slut because I got this kid that I have my head on him, and then I have this new person that I don't really know that well. He's on top of me. And it's not that I don't know him. I know him well, but it's just, he's not someone that like, he's not my boyfriend. He's not anything like that. So we're sitting there, and these girls dogged the shit out of me. And like, I can fight. I have fought a lot. Like, I've broken a lot of faces. Like, I could hold my own. But these three girls are sitting there and they're like talking so much shit. They're like, oh, she's such a little whore. She's got guys under her and on top of her doing a little three-way at a party. Blah, like, just losing their shit, talking loud enough that I can hear it, and just disrespecting the fuck out of me. And I'm by myself. I got no one. Like, I'm on my own, you know, so I'm just shutting the fuck up. I'm not starting a fight here. Like, absolutely not. I'm not going 3-on-1 and they weigh, 200 pounds each and I'm sitting over here. Like, I could fight, but I can't hold my own on that. So yeah, that night it's just something that I don't know what it is about me, but it's like, I've had a lot of experiences. They're just jealous of you because you're getting all the attention. Yeah, see, to have prejudice against popular people, it definitely wasn't your fault. Yeah, see, like, okay, so I know that that's not my fault. I didn't do anything. I spent the entire night minding my business on the couch. Like, these guys came to me. I get it. But, and that's like when I complain about it, like, even like my husband, he'll tell me like, oh, it's because you're really pretty and girls see you as competition and they hate you on the spot because every guy is looking your way and they want them to look their way. And I'm like, but that doesn't make sense because there's a kabillion pretty girls in the world and they have friends. Why can't I manage to keep friends? It doesn't make any sense. And it really just is. I think I have a flirty personality. Like, I make a joke all the time that like guys fall in love with me all the time. Every guy in my life has fallen in love with me at some point or another. So many guys would, like, they could have a white picket fence and 5 kids with the girl of their dreams, and if I hit them up and said, hey, I want to be with you, they would, and I think that that's because I have a very flirty personality, but I'm also like one of the dudes, like, guys don't really have to police the way that they talk around me. I'll like joke around and, I'm but at the same time, like, I'm not one of those girls, like, I'm not like most other girls. I'm just like really cool. And like, I'm one of the boys. Like, no, that's, that's not me. I know what I'm saying sounds like that, but that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, I don't know. And like, I've always made an effort. I just, for some reason, girls see me and they're like, oh, this fucking slut, this piece of shit. And I'm just like, all right, I didn't even open my mouth yet. Like, how do you know you don't like me? But they don't. So it is what it is, man. I got a bad personality, I guess. But oh, that's the point. I'm sitting here, I'm like, why did I just tell that story? So yeah, I just like, and even down to basically you're super chill. I try. They can be that dumb, but I'm older now, and having gone through my entire life like that, like 1 or 2 encounters like that, cool, I get it, but like an entire lifetime of that kind of stuff, it's like, all right, something's wrong with you. It has to be you. It can't be everybody else that has ever been in your proximity. It has to be you, like, and that's whatever, But even when I was a kid, like, I don't know, I was just the one, like, I had friends, I had a bunch of friends, but like, so one example, that's the reason that I started telling that story. And this is my 2 foster sisters. They're living at my house because they had issues at their own house. They're living at my house. They were my best friends way before they became my foster sisters. Like, they became my foster sisters because they were my best friends. And when they got removed from their house, social workers called my parents because they had done foster stuff in the past, and they came to live with me. So these are my really, really good friends. And we're out, and there was 6 people, and they wanted to like go to get something or something. I don't remember. But I remember I'm like 14, 15 years old, and they were like, oh, there's not enough room in the car. One person has to stay back. So they left me there, and they're like, oh, we'll come right back. So I'm sitting in this one spot on the parking lot, and it's 2014. So I don't have a phone. I have like a little flip phone. And I sat there the entire time waiting, and my phone died, and I'm just chilling by myself in this like dark parking lot. Now I'm here. Now, if you go over like, I don't know, 500 feet over this way is it's a handball court, and there was a decent amount of people there. No one I knew. I didn't know anyone at the handball court, so I wasn't going over that way. Plus they had told me they're coming right back, so I'm like, I'm gonna stay in this spot and wait for them. And they didn't come back until like right before curfew, and literally the only reason they came back to get me before curfew was because my foster sisters were in the car and they couldn't go home without me. Like, my parents would kill them. So they came to get me right before curfew. But I sat there for like 2 hours in a pitch black parking lot by myself. And when I think about like why, how do I know if anybody has ever liked me? Like, that's the kind of stuff that enters my head. I'm the person that if there's 5 spots and 6 people, I'm the one that's going to be like, you know what? You stay out. We'll come back for you. It's fine. Just sit by yourself. We'll be back in 10 minutes. And then they show up 2 hours later. And I sat there the entire time by myself, So, I don't know. Did I ask why they did that? So they told me that they assumed that I was going to just get up and go over to the handball court. And I'm like, well, I don't know anybody over at the handball court. Like, there's maybe 5 people there and I don't know any of them. I'm not going over there. And they're like, well, that's your problem. We would have gone over there and made friends. And it was hard with those girls because they did a lot of really shitty things to me throughout my life. And I'm still to this day friends with them. And I'll talk to them and we'll talk about like stuff that happened in the past. And I'm sure they have no idea that I was ever hurt by that kind of stuff. But yeah, they like those girls did some mean things. Like, when I was a kid, I was an only child. So I always like wanted friends. I wanted people to like me. So like my one friend, let's call her Ashley. My one friend, Ashley, she was a problem child as a kid, and she was on probation for most of her life. So she couldn't do anything bad or she would go to juvie. So whenever she would start shit with people, she'd start fights with people, she would have me fight them because I could fight. I always won fights. And she would have me fight them. So like she used me as like a little pit bull, right? So she got into this fight this one day with this girl. Her name was, let's call her Catherine. She gets into a fight with this girl, Catherine. I've never met Catherine a day in my fucking life. I have no idea who Catherine is. So she gets into a fight with Catherine, and they're sitting online and they're talking and they set up a fight. And Ashley turns around. She's like, I'm not going to fight you. Dana's going to fight you because Dana's going to fight you for me, pretty much. And Catherine is like, who the fuck is Dana? And, whatever, be here, you're going to fight, right? So I'm sitting there and now we got 150 people standing there. And I'm like, Catherine shows up and I'm like, all right, I could take this girl. She's a little shorter than me. She's Spanish, and I'm not going to lie. I was a white girl. I was scared of people of other ethnicities, but whatever. Equal opportunity, you can get these hands, So I'm sitting there and I'm like, all right, I'll do what I got to do. But I am going to tell you, like, I don't know you. I don't want to fight you. Like, I don't have any beef with you. I'll fight you if I need to. I just don't really want to. I had problems with one of her friends in the past, a girl named Emily. So Catherine turns around to me and she goes, okay, well, if you don't want to fight me, don't fight me. You can fight Emily. I'm like, I really don't even want to fight Emily. I just don't like her. And Catherine's like, all right, well, if you go smack her, I won't fight you. And I'm like, I bet. Like, do I want to fight this girl that I have no idea? She could be a freaking black belt for all I know. Or go smack this bitch who definitely isn't going to do anything about it and call it a day. So I go over to Emily and I smack Emily across the face. Catherine jumps on me from behind, pushes. Now, I have no idea. I'm sitting here. I'm looking at Emily right here. Catherine comes up from behind me, pushes me forward and I don't realize it's coming. So I go forward and she just starts slamming on the back of my head and I can't do anything. She's literally holding me down, slamming me on the back of the head. This is a girl that I never met in my life. I had set up a fight with her to defend my friend, and my friend and 150 other people literally sat there and watched me getting slammed on the back of the head by this girl, and I can't do anything about it, right? So we stopped the fight. I don't know, because I can't flip around. I can't fight this girl. There's nothing I can do. I just gotta sit there and wait until she's done slamming me on the back of the head. So she finishes slamming me, and now I'm like, yo, fuck you. You're a fucking asshole. Like that was uncalled for. You literally jumped me from behind. What a cheap shot, right? But this girl, I'm a little nervous because this girl has a reputation as being in the Crips. She's in the folk, and that was very rampant in my high school, like gangs and stuff. So she's in the folks. My boyfriend is in the Bloods. It was like, oh God, it's so cringy and embarrassing to think back on. But yeah, so that's why this girl doesn't like me, because I wear red and she is folks. She wears blue and I'm the enemy, right? So, so now we're sitting there and now she's saying that her and her friends we're at the same place that I was at the parking lot. It's the lake. So her and her friends go over to the other side, and we got one person that's bouncing back in between like the two groups. And his name was, his name was Preston. So Preston comes over to me and he's like, well, she wants to fight you. I'm like, all right, so tell her to come over here and fight me. No, she wants you to go over there to fight her. I'm like, well, no, I'm not doing that. If she wants to fight, she can come over here. I don't want to fight her. She just jumped me for no reason, but I don't want to fight her. And if she wants to fight, she can come over here. So Preston is like negotiating this fight, how this fight is going to happen. So we go over and I'm like, I bet, like, we're going to fight, I guess. So we get into the biggest, I don't even know how to explain to you guys. It was the lamest fight that ever has been or ever would be. I punched her once. She punched me once. I punched her once. She punched me once. And that was the fight. It was the biggest vagina fight in the whole world. And because I'm like really holding back, I'm like, I don't want to beat the shit out of this girl and then get jumped by a bunch of Crips when I go to school tomorrow. I got a lot on the line here. Do you think all of the trauma that happened to you in the past is what triggered you going through with your mental health now, Dana? So let me finish my story and we'll see. So, okay. So this all happens. Now I go home and I just got my ass beat. Like this girl punched me in the back of the head 150 times. So I go home and I tell my mom, I'm like, I just got fucked up. Like, and I tell her the whole story. Like, I didn't even know this girl. I fought her for Angie, and Angie sat there, Ashley. And Ashley sat there and watched me get my ass beat and did nothing about it. And so did every other person around. So my mom rips these girls apart. She sits every single one of the people that were there and watched me get beat up down on the couch and rips them like, you little bitches. You just sat there and watched her get jumped fighting your fight. Every single one of them cried. It was bad. It was really, really bad. After that, I want to say like a week later, we had beef with some other group, and the other group didn't want to fight us, but their older sisters did. So I'm sitting at the lake one day and I got all the same girls with me, and it's a week later. So these girls had just gotten reamed out for not fighting with me. So these older girls show up. Now, I look exactly the same since I've looked since I was like 8-9 years old. I would be lucky at that time if I weighed 120 pounds. I'm a tiny little thing. Everyone thinks they can break me. These girls show up. The oldest one that was coming after me, she was, I think, 21. I'm 14. She's 21 and she weighs about 500 pounds. Like, this girl is big. I'm talking big. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh fuck. But this time there's no negotiating. This girl walks up, grabs me by the hair, yanks me over, and we are fighting, right? So she gets me on the ground because she outweighs me by 200 pounds. And she knocks me over. She sits on my chest. And now, again, I had one of those flip phone things. One of the good parts about a flip phone is it has an antenna. So I have my phone in my hand with the antenna sticking up, and I'm hitting this girl in the side of the head with my phone, but it's doing nothing because I have 400 pounds sitting on my chest. To this day, I don't know what happened. I just know that I don't know if she hit me. I don't know if I couldn't breathe because she was sitting on my chest, so I passed out, and I think the girl thought she killed me because I passed out. I woke up in the woods by myself like a half hour later. And yeah, sumo wrestlers, exactly. No, I really couldn't even poke her eyes. I couldn't reach. This girl was huge. Like I'm not even I couldn't get near her face. The only reason I'm hitting her in the head with my phone is because my phone is the only thing reaching her. So so whatever. So I wake up a half hour later. Come to find out that this girl came with friends. She came with like 5 girls, and every single one of my friends fought because they had recently been reamed out by my mom, and like they got really hurt. Everybody wound up in the hospital. We ended up with casts and shit. That girl got arrested. It was like a whole freaking thing. So what the fuck is it? Yeah, an adult fighting kids. Exactly. I mean, it was because I called her sister fat or something. I don't know. It was so stupid. Like her sister was friends with somebody that I had fought in the past, so I called her sister fat because her sister was walking with the other girl that I didn't like, and that's why this girl came and decided to fight me. And literally, it was like 21 years old. She had been out of school for a long time. I'm 14 years old. She's like out there like, oh, you're a little prostitute. I got labeled as a prostitute for the rest of my life after that fight because everyone thought it was the funniest thing in the world that she called me a prostitute. But yeah, so do I think that the trauma from that time has an impact on now? No, I don't. I think it hits me sometimes. Like, as I said, this stuff has all been going through my head recently, which is why I didn't make a video, because I was geared up to like just tell all in this video, and I rethought it, and I'm like, I probably shouldn't share that kind of stuff, you know? Especially because like those girls now, the girls like Ashley and all of them, when we got out of high school, I want to say like 4 or 5 years after we got out of high school, there was this situation where this girl had herself, and it was because of bullies. And these girls got online on Facebook, and they were like, oh, anybody that bullies other people and that happens, they should go to jail for the rest of their life for murder. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, bitch, the only difference between that and what you did to me is the fact that I was stronger. Like, I didn't do anything to myself. I easily could have, and you would have ended up in jail for the rest of your life for murder, according to you. You know, like, you don't get to be a bully and fuck somebody's life up as bad as you did to me, and then get online years later and stick up for people that are bullied. Hell no. And they're like, oh, well, we grew up. We're not like that anymore. Okay, but these girls in high school that bullied the other girl, they haven't grown up. And you did the same exact thing. So shut up. Like, you did not have to insert your opinion into this fight. Like, it's good to get it off my chest. Yeah. But there's certain things that I think that, they just shouldn't be said, you know? I have trauma. Don't get me wrong. But at the time, it really messed me up. This stuff like really, really messed my life up at the time. But I grew up, you know, like time went on. I had a whole life, you know, and that stuff started to matter less and less and less. And now it'll hit me every once in a blue moon, and I'll get upset about it, and then I'll move on from it. As I said, I went into the military, and I had a lot of really, really bad stuff happen there. So, I think when I look in terms of like trauma and how long I've had trauma going on, how severe the trauma is, when I attribute that to the military. And that's why I'm 100% disabled according to the VA. I get paid from the VA every month because I have PTSD. And that's from the military, not from this bullshit that happened when I was 14. Does it suck? Does it hurt? Is it something that comes up every once in a blue moon and I wish it could have been different? Absolutely. But it just is what it is. You know, you got to keep on keeping on. See, this is way better than the Russian mafia. Exactly. That's why I was like, you know, I want to go on and I want to bullshit with people. Oh, God, I don't want to record this episode. I don't know if you guys could tell, but I'm delaying it a little bit. I don't want to do this video. I have to. I absolutely have to, but I really just don't want to. I really want to do a video about Carmine Persico, but I just haven't done the research and I want to. Like, that's the one that I want to do, but I don't have it done yet. So I don't get to do it. So we're just going to continue getting ready for the stupid Russian mafia video. I don't know. Maybe I'll look at the other ones that I have, but I have to do it. Like, I did all the research. There's no point of doing all the research and then not recording the video. So it's like, you know, I have to do it. Think about how good it will feel to finally get it done, though. Yeah, exactly. And that's what I keep trying to tell myself. Like, I'll get it done. The video will come out. I'm getting surgery soon. So I know I'm going to be out of commission for a while. So, like, that's why it's really important to me, like, hey, you got to get this done. Because if I just wait and wait and wait, like, I'm going to have surgery. I'm not going to be able to do a video during that time. So thank you so much. Hopefully I appreciate it. It's not like a serious one. It's like in office, like it's no big deal. It's just going to suck. So I have tumors in and around my uterus, and I've been going to fertility treatments for a while. And this one particular tumor that I have it right now, and it's really bad. It's really big, and it's been causing a lot of issues. So I have to have surgery to have the tumor removed. I appreciate it. Hopefully. Thank you so much. But I can't rely on the fact that I will be able to record after the surgery. I have to, you know, look at it like, okay, if I have this surgery, I might be out of commission for a little bit. So that's why I'm really, really, really trying to get makeup done and everything done that I need to get done to get this video recorded, even though I have this thing on my face that is driving me absolutely bonkers. I hate it. I hate it. So, is anything going on with any of you guys? Anybody have anything fun or interesting going on right now? Because, like, I'm boring. I literally don't do anything with my life. So I need some discussion points. I asked that because when I was a kid and got bullied, I thought about it for years, and it made me a real mean person when I was in my 20s, but now in my 40s, I've totally changed and I'm all about peace. So, Gannis, that was kind of the point that I was making. I'm older now, you know, like I was affected by it. When it happened, that was the worst thing that could possibly happen. And that trauma really did. I held on to it for a long time. But the way that you're in your 40s and you're all about peace, that's how I am. You know, like I've done a lot of work to try to heal my soul, as lame as that sounds. I have tried to make myself a better person and move on from the stuff that's happened in the past. Plus, I mean, the stuff that I just said, like, you know, it was mean and everything, but it's not even like top 10 of the trauma that I've gone through. I've gone through a lot of really bad stuff. Put it this way, the stuff that I've gone through, I would assume that a lot of other women have gone through similar stuff. So make of that what you will. So that's kind of the trauma that I have focused on and focused on getting over. So, and plus, I've had a lot of really important deaths in my family and my loved ones. So that's the kind of stuff that I've always tried to focus on getting over. But um but at the same time, I don't really have experience with getting like severely bullied. Like that kind of stuff happened and my friends were mean to me sometimes, but I wasn't the person that like I was getting mocked and beat up and this and that. So I can't say how something like that would affect you because and that's why like I was the kid when I was younger. I had this friend, his name was fuck it. His name was Chris. And he got tortured by this kid. This kid was so mean to him. He would call him fat and ugly, and every time he would walk down the hall, he would like push his books out of his hands. He was vicious to this kid. And this kid was ready to unalive himself. Like it was getting bad. And I was like, I wasn't even really good friends with him at the time. I was like kind of acquaintances with him, but I was watching it happen. And eventually I got to the point where I'm like, no, this isn't going to happen anymore. I'm done. And I took a textbook, one of those like thick history textbooks. And I walked up to the kid that was bullying him and slammed him in the face with it and told him like, I will end your goddamn life. If you don't leave this kid alone, I will end your life. And that is because I knew how serious bullying was. I knew the damage that it could do. And I didn't want to see something bad happen to Chris because everybody sat around and let him get bullied. I wasn't going to let that happen. And after I did that, I was like, you know, the kid didn't bully him anymore. Great. But it mattered so much to Chris. Like his mom went to the school and personally told the school, like, hey, I want Chris to be given the same exact schedule as Dana because Chris was ready to unalive himself and now he's fine because Dana protected him. So literally she went to the school and had Chris's entire schedule changed to mine so that I wouldn't let anybody bully him. So that was the type of person that I was. And I always looked at it like I had things like that, like where I got left in the parking lot or I got beat up and my friends watched, but I never had anything as severe as Chris had. And I never felt like I really could claim to have been affected by bullying or anything because I never had it that bad. So, you know, it just so happened that I could fight and there was nothing you could, you know, you can't bully me because I will fuck you up, you know, like I was known in the school as having a lot of fights. I've almost gone to jail multiple times for it, put a girl in the hospital for it. So as much as yes, I did have bad experiences, I didn't have anywhere near the experience of somebody that went to school and got bullied. So I'm so sorry to hear that you went through that because as I said, I watched it happen to a friend and I knew how serious it was. I knew how bad that can affect somebody's mental psyche. And I wish that you would had somebody in your life like me that would come and hit somebody in the face with a book to protect you. I want a dragon picture, which is the coolest thing that's happened in weeks. Oh yes, I've been working on it. That's why I was up. You know, something funny is that when I got home from the Hamilton show, I was like, I don't want to go to sleep, and I wouldn't go to sleep because I've been working on the picture, which is why it's another layer of why I haven't recorded this goddamn video because I really don't want to be doing videos. I want to be drawing this freaking this dragon thing that I'm doing for you. I'm having the blast of my life. So I'm really happy that you are excited for it. A really nice cinema is showing movies $2 near me. I watched the original SpongeBob movie with friends and a bunch of kids. We were obviously the loudest for no good reason. That's awesome. So the original SpongeBob movie, is that the one where he had the little balloon and he got like left at the bottom of that like cliff and he couldn't get back up and I think that's the original SpongeBob movie. I don't really remember, but I think that's the one. Okay. Okay. What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? Let's do this. So I have a TBI. And I had two of them in pretty close proximity to each other. So like I got one in 2019 while I was at AIT, and I got another one in 2021, I want to say. And the one in 2019 really had like an effect on my brain, and I was like stupid afterwards. I couldn't put thoughts together. Like I don't know if it bothers anybody. I apologize if it does, but like even when I'm talking on here, I don't know if you notice that like I stop in between my sentences and I need to like take a second to remember what the hell I was talking about, because I just like I lose my train of thought so easily and so fast. And I forget words and stuff. So if me getting like taking a while to get through a sentence is like really frustrating, I'm so sorry. I try to like work on it and try to like do, I don't know. That's like my videos, they're very heavily edited and I have to like cut out pieces because keeping a sentence going for me is like the most impossible thing in the world. Don't worry, we have that in common. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Ganis. Wish we could watch the video being recorded. Of course, she would be editing and whatnot, but it would be really cool to see. Yeah, no, you don't. No, you don't. You don't wish that because, okay, so let me tell you what behind the scenes looks like for me. It looks like, okay, so let's say I have 40 slides to get through. Hang on, I gotta, ugh. Yeah, so let's say I have 40 slides to get through. I'm gonna get through, let's say 5 slides. And then I'm going to get sidetracked and I'm going to sit on my phone and I'm going to do this and that and this and that and completely forget about the fact that I'm supposed to be recording a video. And then, like an hour later, I'll come back to it and I'll do another 5, 6 slides, maybe 10, just like push myself to get 10. And then I go beep, boop, boop over and do something else. Dana, do you burn what? Ugh, get off of me. Did you guys see that fly just land on me? Ugh. Do I burn what? Oh, we did. No. I have anxiety. Okay. I used to smoke when I was younger, like 14, 15, 16 years old. But now at this age, I've tried multiple times because like I have anxiety out the ass. I would love to be able to smoke weed and calm down, but the anxiety is so like crippling that when I smoke, it's really bad. It's really bad. Yeah, that would be cool playing Jackbox. Yeah, I wish it would help my anxiety. That would be the greatest thing in the world if I could just, I'm going to smoke a little bit and it'll make the anxiety go away. But no. One of the major things, and it's like the weirdest thing in the world, and most people have never heard of it. One of the major things that happens to me when I smoke weed, I get paranoid that I peed my pants. I know how stupid that sounds, but I don't know why, I always do. And there is nothing that you can say or do to convince me that I have not peed my pants. I can look at my pants and see that they're dry, but in my brain, it's happened. And if I can convince myself that it hasn't happened, 10 minutes later, I'm going to convince myself it did. I don't know what it is. I really don't. But it's bad. It's really freaking bad. And that makes me not want to smoke because I'm always so self-conscious. Like, and when I talk, I feel like I sound like I'm like I don't know. It just makes me feel bad and self-conscious about myself. And I feel like if it does that to me, then it's not really a good thing, you know? It amps up my anxiety instead of helping it. And I think it might have been like that my whole life. Like, I don't think I ever had a good reaction with weed, but I just used to smoke it because, you know, my cousin smoked it and blah, blah, blah. But I don't think I was ever a person that weed calmed me down. Even when I got used to it and the whole I peed my pants thing went away, I have heard some horror stories about people on drugs uncontrollably peeing. So I just do not want to risk it. Exactly. But no, I'm not joking. I'm so serious. I know it sounds funny, but this is the stuff that concerns me during those times. I'm convinced that I peed my pants. And there's nothing you can tell. Yes, I did. No, you didn't. Your pants are dry. Nope, you just don't know. You just can't see. Like, it's so bad. And to be honest, so like I've been thinking lately, and I think that because like I got a lot of shit, you know, like I got a lot of mental shit, and I am not okay, and I want to be. I want to be the invisible pain. It is. I'm telling you. I want to be okay. I don't want to be depressed and sad and anxious, and you know, like I want to feel good about myself and be happy. And I don't see that happening ever. So, what I want to do, and I've really, really been thinking about doing, is I think that, so like I scheduled this week on Thursday, I scheduled an appointment with a medium, which I'm super, super, super stoked about. I can't wait to go to this medium. And it's a really like popular medium. I've seen really good and positive things. So I'm really excited to do that. After that, I want to go to like a tarot card reader / like spiritual healer. I want to do that. And then I want to do ayahuasca. And I don't know if you guys have ever heard of ayahuasca, but from what I hear, ayahuasca is like a soul healing drug that like you take it. Do the meds help any? No, they don't. The meds would probably help if I took them the right way. So like right now I'm on venlafaxine and buspirone, and I don't take buspirone. Venlafaxine, I have a bad habit of extending between when I take it. So like I'm supposed to take it every day, but I'll not take it for a day or two, and then all of a sudden I get brain zaps. I don't know if any of you have ever experienced brain zaps, but it's like a jolt of electricity going through your body every, I don't know, 5 minutes. It's just like you think you're getting electrocuted, and that's what I get. So I don't stop taking the venlafaxine, but I did stop taking the buspirone because I don't want to add things that I'm dependent on. I think I recognize the validity of anxiety and depression medication, but I haven't really had it help me. So I really haven't wanted to just add medications on. I did have one medication that really helped a lot, but I turned out to be allergic to it. It was called something like letrozine or something, and that was the most helpful drug to me. And I was feeling happy. I was so excited at the prognosis after taking this. And then like they were like, listen, if you get a rash, call us right away. And I was like, okay, but I have bad allergies. I get hives on a daily basis. If you want me to call you every time a hive pops up, I'm gonna be on the phone with you constantly. And they're like, no, you'll know if you get this rash, you'll know you have this rash. So I start taking the meds, and I'm fine. It helps. It's the first thing that's ever helped me like feel better. And then 2 weeks later, I get these rashes on my body, and it's everywhere that a crease is. So I had it right here. I had it in my armpits, in between my legs, behind my legs. Every single crease on my body got the biggest and worst rash. Oh my God, it was horrific. So apparently, that drug leads to Steven Johnson's syndrome, which is where like your skin starts to peel off, and a lot of people end up in the burn unit from it. So obviously I had to stop taking that medication, and ever since then I really just haven't tried. And I've been on like I really want to do ayahuasca. I'm hoping that ayahuasca can help. I don't know. I'll be right back, guys. I gotta go grab my energy drink. I forgot to bring it in here. How'd the dude get his first and last name in the disease? I don't know. How'd he get his first and last name? Oh, I thought you were telling a joke. You're talking about Steven Johnson. Yeah, I don't really know about Steven Johnson's, honestly. I just know that I got itchy, and then they told me I could get Steven Johnson's, and I figured it was like the same thing as ALS being called that other person's name. God damn it! What do they call it? They call ALS something else. But yeah, I don't really know who Steven Johnson is. That's so funny. I thought that you were Lou Gehrig's. Thank you. Exactly. But yeah, I thought you were like telling a joke. Johnson and Johnson. I don't think it's Johnson and Johnson. I'm sure there was like a person, a Steven Johnson, that had an allergic reaction, ended up in the burn unit, and all his skin peeled off, and he was the first one, and they just named the disease after him. I'm sure if I Googled it, I could figure it out, but it never really piqued my interest enough to like go out of my way and research it. Which I almost died of it, so you would think that I would be interested, but priorities, guys. I really don't want to do eyelashes right now. Okay, let's straighten my hair, because it is looking a little ragtag messy, guys. And my straightener is very, very broken, so I'll show you. So I have a habit of leaving my straightener on the floor wherever I have it, and I stepped on it one too many times. So like, I don't know if you guys could see, it's broken, but that's okay because it still works. Your husband must be a very patient man. Yes. When me and him started dating, it was a joke about like in his family where they were like, oh, what's wrong with her? Because he has Captain Save-A-Ho syndrome, and I was like the first person that he had been with that was like not a train wreck. And at the time, honestly, I had my life together, like I was working at a good job and I really didn't have anything wrong with me. He was in the military with me. And what happened while he was away on deployment. So he was really badly affected by everything in the military as well. So as much as, yes, he's patient and deals with a lot of stuff that other people might not be able to deal with, he's also dealing with his own stuff. So like when I'm affected by stuff, he understands it a lot more because he was there. He went through it with me. And yeah. freaking straightener is so broken. It looks like it's supposed to be, yeah, it's supposed to be glued. Boo. And I never replaced the straightener because I've just been using like the 1-inch. So now it's time to pay the piper because I have long hair again. So I need the longer, bigger straightener. But for such a lovely woman as yourself, I'm sure any man would be patient for you. Thank you. I appreciate it. The straightener is surviving. Yes. Thank you. Ganu? Am I saying your name right? Ganu? I don't want to be like calling you the wrong name. Yeah, so a lot of, I get hit up by guys all the time and they're like, oh, your husband is such a lucky man. I would give anything to be with you. And I'm like, bro, you say that, okay? But I'm really crazy, okay? Like, there's only so long that being hot matters when you're dealing with the type of shit that anybody with me deals with. So yeah, I appreciate it, but yes, you're 100% correct. He is definitely patient. Yeah. And so like I have a very specific type. If you look at every single one of my ex-boyfriends, any guy that I've ever been with in my life, they are just bigger and smaller versions of each other. And one of the main things that I look for in a guy is that I need guys to be able to let me wear the pants in the relationship. Okay. And that sounds so bad. It really does. But I will never be the type to, oh, I'm going to take care of my man and I'll have a hot meal on the table for him. Like, I am not that person. I've never been that person. So, and every guy that I've ever been with knows that. And I have to, I just won't be with a guy that is like that. Like I have friends that are like that. Like, oh, I want a woman that's going to have dinner ready on the table for me when I get home. And I am not that person. Like I just won't be with that person. And my husband is very, when me and him started dating, one of the things that was like very attractive to me was like, he is willing to throw down with anybody for anything. Loves to fight, this man, I swear to God. And that's how I am. And usually in a relationship, there's usually one crazy person and then one person that's like, all right, chill. Like, don't be crazy, but we don't have that. We're both insane. We're both willing to fight at any given time. So yeah, we're like the same person, and it's really bad because we don't have somebody to be like, hey, calm the fuck down, you idiot. Like, and my ex, his name was Billy, and I dated Billy for 5 years. He's the one that I was living with Billy when I first started talking to my husband. And he was very much so like that. Like he was like, he wouldn't fight somebody if we were out and we got into a skirmish or whatever. He was the one that was like dragging me away, like, please stop, so I think that's why, like, when I first started talking to my husband, I was so attracted to that. Cause like, I remember so many times where I would try to fight or, get crazy. And Billy, when I was with him, he would just like, he wasn't having it. He would walk away from me. Like I got it one time, me and him were walking at the mall in the, what's that called? The West Haven Mall, I want to say. And somebody had walking past us. They were like, oh, fucking Eminem and Kim over here. And I got so mad. I flipped out and I'm like losing my shit. And he literally walked away from me. Like he's not the person that would have my back. He won't fight. He won't anything. And then, And then yeah, my husband now, when we started talking, like he actually went up to Billy when we first started dating and punched him in the face. And as mad as I was at that, I still at the end of the day was like, oh, that's a little hot. Like, you know, I need somebody that's gonna, you know, if someone pisses them off, you're gonna punch them in the face. If you're not somebody that can throw down and fight, and you're scared to fight and you can walk away, you're not for me, bro. But at the same time, I need you to apologize. You know, like I need a guy that's like doesn't think he's wrong, but is gonna apologize, is going to bow down and let me be right, and kind of again let me wear the pants in the relationship. So it's a very specific type of person that I am with, and not very many men fit that mold. So yeah, I am always lucky whenever I find a boyfriend. And when me and my husband first started talking, one of the first conversations, your ex-boyfriend should have had your back no matter what, especially if it's a fight. Yeah, exactly. He should have had my back no matter what, no questions asked. And he did, but he just wouldn't, like, it was dudes that I was fighting with, and he knew like the dudes aren't gonna beat me up, but they will beat him up. So he walked away. And it is what it is, you know, like I know that if I'm willing to fight a dude, like I've always been very much so under the impression of like, if I'm gonna step to a dude, I fully expect that dude to fight me. I'm not one of those girls that like steps to a guy and I'm like, oh, you can't hit me because I'm a girl. Like I've had way too much experience getting punched in the face by guys to think that, you know, oh, you can't touch me because I'm a woman. Nah, like if I'm stepping to a dude, I'm ready to fight a dude. It's not, I'm not like taking advantage of the fact that I'm a girl. Nah, we're fighting like two dudes. Let's square up. Let's fight, you know? I think that's why you're so intrigued with the mob. Definitely. I think that has a huge part in it, in that like it's very similar to the way that I am. Like, and I think that the way that I am is because I grew up around, you know, Italians and the mafia. And like if anybody's ever watched Mob Wives, that's very similar to my personality. Like I like Drita is my soul animal. I fucking love that girl. And you know, her man, I guarantee you, lets her wear the pants in the relationship, and he walks outside of that house and he runs a mafia group and he does what he has to do, and he'll fuck up any dude in the world. But to his wife, no, there's no way any man is standing over Drita D'Avanzo. So, and that's just the kind of person that I look for. And yes, that's definitely why I'm interested in the mafia, because first of all, I grew up around it. And second of all, it's very similar to how I am. You were raised the same way? Yeah. It's definitely not something that just like leaves your bones, you know, like it's something that if you grew up around it, it shapes who you are, and you'll spend the rest of your life being that way. And you know, not too long ago, I wasn't going to tell anybody this, but I'll tell you guys because there's only 5 people here and it's not going to go anywhere. So a few weeks ago, me and my husband got into a war, and we were about to break up. We were talking about divorce, and he moved out of the house, and I knew that the next day he was going to go take money out of the bank. And he had told me that he needed $12,000 because he needed to go and pay a full year on an apartment. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, this is my money. I made it and you're not taking it. So the next day I left the house, went to the bank, and saw him at the bank. I knew that he was doing it, and he did it. And I have always grown up in a very anti-police household life. Oh, thank you so much, Candace. I really try, I swear. But yeah, I had always been raised in a very anti-police. We take care of our own problems. We don't call the cops. That's not something that we do. And I always thought that way. I was always like, if I was ever around, if I was ever around you and you called the cops, I mocked you for it. I hate cops. I hate them. And I don't call the cops. If I get into a car accident, the only reason the cops get called is because I need a police report for my insurance. You know, I view the cops as useless. However, one of the main reasons that in a mafia culture that you're told like don't call the cops is we take care of our own. And recently it became very clear to me that like I don't have a community around me. Like he was at the bank, he was going to take this money out and there was nothing I could do about it. And for the first time in my entire life, I called the cops. And I could have had him arrested, but I didn't. And my only aim was to make sure that he could go nowhere near that money because I had $40,000 sitting in the bank. And I thought that he was going to empty it and take the money and go and get this apartment, which I knew he wasn't going to stay at. So, but yeah, I was like, it really messed with my head to have called the cops. I've never called the cops a day in my life. The only time I've ever had to call the cops is when I get into a car accident. And the only reason I call them is because you need a police report for insurance purposes. So, yeah, it really had an impact on me that I had to call the cops. And I walked into the bank and I was like, I called the cops. You're not taking money out. And, you know, the banker was trying to alleviate the situation. But it sucks because, you know, all my people are dead. My uncles and everybody, they're all dead. They went to jail and then they died. So the idea of, oh, you don't call the cops, you take care of your own shit, yeah, that's great for women who have brothers or friends or whatever to call to take care of stuff like that. But when I am on my own out here, guess what? I'm calling the fucking cops. Like, most have to do with sometime. Yeah. I don't know, man. It just sucked. I've always had a very hard stance against it. And you know, it's funny because a lot of people have always said to me like, "Oh, you talk all this shit about cops, but you know, the minute that you need them, you'll call them." And I was always like, "No, I won't. I never have and I never will. Every experience I've ever had with police has been bad." You know, like I've had a lot of experiences with the cops and it's always been bad. And there was times that they had the opportunity to help. You know, it's not like, oh, the only experiences you ever had was when you were speeding and they pulled you over and they were doing their job. No, I've had experiences with police where they could have done something to help and they didn't. So I was always very like, oh, I won't call them and I won't ever need them. And, you know, if I could sign up to be on a registry of people that the police won't help if something goes wrong, but they'll leave me the fuck alone, I would be more than happy to. So the other day, I mean, it was like a month ago that this happened. It was recent. So it sucked. It really, really sucked when that happened. But you're right. It happens to everybody. And if I had my family and everybody in my family wasn't already friggin' dead, I would have had the ability to, you know, oh, we'll take care of our own shit on our own. But if you don't have a community around you, then guess what? Police are going to get called. It's shitty. And I felt like shit about it afterwards. But I didn't feel bad for my husband. There, you know, I felt bad because of myself. I couldn't handle it on my own. And, you know, the last thing I wanted to do was go to the bank and beat the shit out of my husband in the middle of the bank and go to jail. Like, I didn't want to do that. I would have done that to protect that money that was in that bank account. But it just sucks because back in the day, you know, I would have made a phone call and somebody would have come and handled it, and I wouldn't have had to call the cops. But the fact that I did is just like, I'm an only child. I feel like that's one of the situations where your family couldn't, I don't know. So I'm an only child, and growing up, my cousin Mark was very similar to an older brother for me. You remind me so much of my sister, I swear to God. Growing up, my cousin was like a brother to me. His dad was one of the people that was in the mafia, and he was in jail a lot. Like, I'm talking, he made it to the top 10 most wanted on the FBI type shit. Like, he was gone a lot. So he got really close with my family. He was really close with my mom, and for a while there, he lived with me. And he was the one that, like, he would go to the lake and talk to the older guys when I was younger, and like, I'll fucking kill you if you go near my cousin type shit. And if he was alive, he would be one of the first people that I would call, and he would go to the bank and he would talk my husband out of it, because he would tell him, like, I'm gonna fucking kill you if you don't walk out of the bank right now. Like, that's the way that people handle their own shit. They have a family member that will go and threaten the person, like, I will fucking end your life if you don't walk out of the bank right now. And I always had that when I was growing up, like, I always had that community around me where it's like, okay, I'm going to call this person, and in an emergency situation, this person will handle it. Mark unalived himself after he got a jail sentence, and he was like really heavy on dope, and he didn't want to go to jail and withdraw, because when you go to jail and you withdraw, people fuck with you, like, people know that you're withdrawing, you're in bad shape, and they will steal from you, they'll beat you up, they'll, do whatever they want to do. He didn't want to go through that, so he unalived himself. And, that sucks. Thank you. It happened a long time ago. It's not something that, that has much effect anymore. But yeah, even like Billy was my ex-boyfriend, the one I was just talking to you guys about. He was somebody that, like, after me and him broke up, we dated for 5.5 years. After me and Billy broke up, he was my best friend. And I used to call him and I would tell him about problems that I was having with my boyfriends, and he would tell me I was wrong. He would take their back. Like, he was one of my best friends in the whole world. And in that situation, 100%, I would have called Billy, and he would have come to the bank, and he would have figured it out with my husband, and everything would have been fine. But Billy was murdered. So Billy is not a resource that I can use. So, like, everywhere I look, it's like I would call this person, and they would be able to do something about it, but that person's not here anymore, So I gotta roll with the punches and deal with what I have. Unfortunately, I wish very badly that these people that were close to me, like, could do something, but they can't. Even my mom was one of the closest people in the world to me. My mom was my best friend. Like, I used to work in Manhattan, and I would call her while I was driving to and from, and I lived on Long Island, so it was like a 2-hour commute each way. Another one from your team is not around. Yeah. But yeah, I would call her on my commute home, and we would talk for 2 hours every day each way. So, like, my mom was my best friend. And while I was in AIT, she died. And that's another person that, like, she was my crisis person. If I had something going on that I didn't know what to do about, she was the person that would take care of it, Like, as I said, when I got into that fight when I was in high school, my mom reamed out all my friends, like, she was always the person, like, had my back and would take care of shit, and she was really close to my husband, but at the same time, she would have managed that situation. So I'm out here on these mean streets alone, kid. So You got to do what you got to do sometimes. And guess what? Guess what happened from that? So now me and my husband had gotten into a physical altercation. Pretty, like, I had bruises on me. And I was telling him, like, if you try to take that money, I'm going to have you arrested for laying your hands on me. And I never really had any plans on having him arrested. I just wanted him away from the bank. So we're sitting outside and we're talking about, like, okay, we're going to split the money in the bank account halfway. We're going to each take 50% and we're going to go about our day. So, but I'm telling the cop, I'm like, yo, I need 24 hours. I need him to go away. He can't come to my house. Like, he needs to go away. And the cop is like, well, he lives there. I can't tell him that he can't go there. And I'm like, all right, well, put it this way. If you don't tell him he can't come to my house, there's going to be a phone call to you tonight because bad stuff's going to happen. So figure it out. So the cop goes and they tell my husband, like, hey, you can't go home. Like, we are not telling you that legally you can't, but you can't. Go figure out a different place to sleep. And they tell him, like, go home and go get your stuff together. Get a bag and just go stay out of the house for a few nights. And he leaves to go get his stuff together. And I turned around while the cops were in the bank parking lot, and I went right into the bank and grabbed every single dime out of that savings account, put it in a separate account, and kept it, motherfucker. So, I mean, you know, you got Ganu on your team, and that's 100. Well, that's good to hear. Thank you so much. But yeah, and again, after the whole thing was said and done, he was happy that I did that because he's dumb and he'll make a stupid decision like putting 12 months down on rent when, you know, we're 2 days outside of a fight. And he would have done that and we would have lost $12,000. So I really don't feel bad about the fact that I called the cops. The only thing that I feel bad is like the blow to my own personal ego at having to call the cops because I have all these people in my life that that have always been able to help, and it was a blow the other day when I needed somebody and had nobody, and I don't know, it was shitty. But that's okay because it worked out in the end. And I told him, like, the fact that he left and I was able to take all the money out of the bank account and put it into my bank account and, like, I walked away the victor. The fact that, thank you, hopefully, I appreciate it. The fact that I walked out the victor in that situation is the only reason that me and him have been able to talk about resolution. Because if we had gone half and half, or if he had emptied out that bank account, like, I don't see any form of resolution. I needed to walk out with all of the money. And I gave him, after that fight, we got over the fight, and I did give him half of it. But if he had walked away having won that fight, I don't think we ever would have gotten back together. And I think he knew that because, like, I was at that point that I was really just willing to walk away. I was willing to get a divorce and be on my own, which would be the worst thing in the world. Like, I don't see myself as being able to deal with another person. I think if me and my husband broke up, I would be single for a really long time, which is something I've never been. I have had a boyfriend since I'm 14 years old, and I start dating my next guy before I'm fully done with my first guy. Like, as I said, when I first started talking to my husband, I was still living with Billy. And when I started to talk to Billy, I was with my boyfriend before. Like, I've always had long-term relationships, and I have always been in a relationship. So doesn't he make his own money? He does, but I just make more. Like, a lot more. And our bank accounts are intertwined, and it was my fucking money. You know, I'm the CEO at a financial company. So I make 6 figures a year at that, and I'm 100% disabled with the VA, so I get paid for that as well every month. So yeah, when you're looking at a savings account, it's my money. Thank you. I appreciate it. And I mean, that's something like I've always, my whole life, I've made a lot of money, and I'm not the type to go after rich guys. I actually really hate rich guys. I grew up in a very like lower middle class town, and every guy I've ever dated has been from here. And I've gone on dates with rich guys, like I've gone on dates with lawyers and people that have money, and I just highly, highly, highly dislike people with money. I know that sounds really bad, but I just do. What's up, Lisa? What are you owing? Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. And eyes and ears and mouth and nose. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. Gosh darn it, did it work? There we go. Probably was wondering how to make as much as you do. Okay, that's a good question. What is the difference between guys with and without money? So, let me preface this by saying, I don't know shit. Okay, I'm not anybody special. I grew up very poor, and I more so identify with people that grew up the same way. Like it's a very different experience that you live if you have money or if you don't. Like there's certain things about your life as a whole that just like somebody that has money or grew up with money, they'll never understand that. They'll never relate to that. Like people that have money, they just can't grasp it, and like, so this lawyer that I was talking to this one time, I mean, I kind of liked him, but to be honest, like he had money from the day he was born. He was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. And it's just, they have a certain attitude about him. And you know what it is? I think it's like, they have an attitude of, they don't need you. They look at you as like, okay, well, if you walk away, that's fine with me. And guys that I've dated, at least, like I need you to cry at the idea of me walking away. I need you to think about me leaving your life and your entire life to fall apart. If you're not gonna be that way, then I don't want to be with you, because like if I get into a fight with a guy, I need him to be so distraught that like he's gonna just spend the entire time thinking about me, and then he's gonna like call me, and even if he's not sorry, he's gonna say sorry. You know, you are an accessory to a rich guy. Exactly. And as I said, I need to be the one wearing the pants in the relationship. So and that's not saying like, oh, I need to be with a pussy of a guy. Like, as I said, my husband, he loves to fight. He'll go out and fight anybody. But with me, I'm going to win the fight, you know? And that's how pretty much every guy I've ever been with has been. And rich guys are just not like that. They look at themselves as like, oh, I'm worth so much. I am such a special little fucking rock. I am great. I am wonderful. I am sunshine and rainbows. And if you walk away, I don't really care, you know? And in order to be the one in the relationship that wears the pants, like you need to have a bargaining chip. And that bargaining chip is removing yourself, you know? So, like, a lot of times I'll say, like, okay, well, I'm going to leave. And that is the worst thing that you can say to somebody that doesn't want that, you know? So that's the difference to me, is that like rich guys, they think they're worth more than you, and if you say that you're gonna leave, they'll let you. And if you're gonna let me leave, then I'm gonna leave and I'm never gonna speak to you again, you know? And I don't want that. Like when I was younger, I used to joke all the time, like, oh, I'm gonna go marry a rich man. Like, I don't need love. I don't need companionship. All I need is his money. So I'll marry a rich dude, and he can go and cheat and do whatever he wants to do, and I'll just spend his money. I don't care. You know, like when I was a kid, I fully wanted to be a trophy wife. And then I hit an age where I started dating and I realized how important like companionship and love and that kind of stuff. I realized how important it is to me, and I couldn't live without it. So I would rather be with somebody that doesn't have money, never had anything, but values me, than somebody that had a silver spoon in their mouth their entire life, and doesn't value me because they value themselves too much. They've spent their entire lives being told that they're special and magical and great, and that they don't have to put any kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Priority onto anybody or anything but themselves. It's not the thing for me. And that's not to say that like, oh, every single rich guy in the world is terrible. I have no problem with them. It's just not somebody I personally would want to be with. I need to be the most important thing in somebody's life. And usually people that have money, the most important thing in their life is money. And you'll notice like a lot of the time, like rich guys, like you'll see a lot of rich guys being like gym bros, or, you know, things like that, where it's just like they just care so much about themselves and their look and how they look to other people and how the world perceives them. That is the number one thing that matters to them. And that's just not what I go for. I don't really care how I look or how the world perceives me or any of that. Like, it just doesn't matter to me. So if your ideals are that different, a relationship just doesn't work. The guy has to call you my precious, just like the Lord of the Rings. Exactly. Honestly, like, you know, I'm joking, but like I'm serious. I need to be that to a guy, and I am to my husband. I have been to every guy that I've ever been with. I was saying before that I joke around that I have all these guys that are in love with me. every single guy I've ever been with is like that. You know, hit up any of my ex-boyfriends. Well, I really only have one or two. But they will tell you that they are still to this day in love with me, you know, and they'll never be with me. But if I hadn't looked for a guy that specifically was going to put me at the top of their priority list, then that wouldn't be the case. And if me and my husband split up, I want him to spend the rest of his life crying over me. Which probably isn't the case. He's very, like, he's a vet, and everybody knew that he was in the military, and oh my God, a military guy is just so attractive. And he has a lot of girls that would die to be with him because that's just like the coolest thing in the whole world. Oh my God, a guy that was in the military. Now, for me personally, I was in the military, so I know that guys in the military are fucking jokes. That's kind of selfish. What do you say? Oh yeah, no, it's definitely selfish. 100% selfish. I don't accuse myself of being a good person or fair. I suck. Definitely. But I don't know. I guess once I move on, he can move on. But if I'm single, like, I need to know that you're crying at home and wanting me. Yeah, exactly. I know my value. Hey, Arthur. The next mobster that I'm doing is Semyon Mogilevich, and I don't want to do it. It seems like people who wear camo and use guns are a substitute for military dudes. I guess. I don't know. I'm from New York. That's not like a fad here. Like, you'll never see a dude walking around in like camos. Like, I think that's more of a South thing. The people in the South, they're more like wearing camo and carrying guns and stuff, but I don't really know how they are because, like, I lived in the South for 4 years in the military, but I was married the whole time I was in the military, so I never really went after any guys. I don't know how they are. I have animal crackers. They're really good. Remember the mob cops? Trust me, I don't want to record this video, okay? I would much rather be recording yours. I just got the research done for this. I've been trying to not only do Italian guys. I've been trying to broaden my horizons. So that's why I chose to do a freaking Russian military person, but I regret it now. Under our Versace shirts. Exactly. I don't know who Frank Lucas is. Who is it? He's definitely not boring. You know what it is that, like, I've gotten a pretty good handle on how to pronounce Italian names. I don't know anything about Russian names. Like, his name is Semyon Mogilevich, and I have no idea if I'm saying that right. I know I'm going to have to stop and figure out how to say so many names. He was one of the biggest heroin dealers in New York. Oh, Frank Lucas. I have seen American Gangster. Okay, so that's about Frank Lucas. That's cool. Yeah, maybe I'll look into him. All right, stop being fat. Hmm. I legit survive on sugar. I eat like a chocolate bar for dinner way too often. It was partners with Crazy Joe Gallo. And see, it takes a special type of person to be partners with someone that crazy. You know, I put the lid on because I'm like, you need to stop eating. It's fucking 3 o'clock in the morning. And you're over here eating graham crackers. But I can't. I need to reopen. Parnell Stacks Edwards. I've definitely done research on him. Isn't he the one that fucking got killed because he fucked up the airport thing? Breakfast time? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, fuck that guy. I'm happy he died. Plus, I'm pretty sure there's not a lot of research out there about Parnell Stacks Edwards. I need to do people that have like a lot of research done on them. Parnell didn't really matter. Oh, camel. He didn't jump out. He parked his car in front of his girlfriend's house and left it in a fucking fire lane spot for 3 days. This guy sucks. And, fun fact, nobody ever went to jail for that. Oh, drunked out. Got you. Yeah, no, they didn't get pinched for it. They did get their fingerprints found in the van, but nobody ever went to jail for it. Oh, Michael Franzese, that little fucking loser. Ugh. I hate that guy. Listen. First of all, I hate anybody that is a hypocrite. And Michael Franzese is the biggest hypocrite in the whole world, okay? The same way, like, I used to be a really big fan of Sammy the Bull Gravano until he got on one of his videos and sat there and he goes, oh, you know, something about, like, abortion. And he was like, oh, you know, you got girls that don't give a shit about life and go out there and kill babies. And it's like, bitch, you are literally convicted of killing 19 fucking people. And you're going to talk shit about girls getting abortions? Like, get the fuck out of here. No, shut up. Like, whether you're for or against abortion, doesn't matter. You have no say in the matter of when life exists and when life matters when you're out there fucking killing 19 fully developed fucking human beings. Shut the fuck up. Michael Franzese is she how Franzese his on channel? Exactly. He's out there like he's just so condescending. He's about like God now. He's a God man. And he's just so good. You know, like if you watched him and Sammy got into a fight because they prayed for Sammy and Sammy's like, fuck you, I don't need anybody to pray for me. You know, like despite the fact that he's a made guy, He's out here running around like, oh, I'm just such a godly man and I'm just so good. And like, get the fuck out of here. Shut up. I hate people like that. Hate it. Like, you're not a good person. People can't change that much. Can people change? Yeah. Can they change that much? No. Shut up. Arthur, I do have a video on Vito Genovese. It's called Why I Hate Vito Genovese. Hate that man too. Fuck that guy. Him I hate because I love Anastasia. So, you know, can't love Anastasia and not hate Genovese. Oh, I feel what you're saying. Yeah, maybe. I really can't bring myself to do the research on Michael Franzese because okay. I hate Vito Genovese. I really do. Fucking man is a useless piece of shit. However, he put the work in. He killed people. He did what he was supposed to do to be recognized as a mafia member. And Franzese didn't. Like, the fact that he calls himself a made guy, having never met the requirements to be made, no, you're a bitch, you know? So, as much as I disliked freaking Genovese, I still have to give him his props and his respect for doing what he was supposed to do, had to do, you know? I feel like even going as far as to do the research on Michael Franzese is just giving him too much credit. Plus, I've never done a video on a rat. So even if it is, oh, this is why I hate him, do I really want to recognize him enough as a rat, you know? All right, guys. I gotta go. I gotta make this fucking video. Ugh. How would I react if Michael Franzese was listening to this? I mean, you know, if you can't take being told that somebody doesn't like you, then you shouldn't be on fucking YouTube. As I said before, I have people on every single video that I make telling me that I'm terrible at makeup and I'm this and I'm not. You can't become a public figure and not expect people to not like you. And you can't tell me, as Michael Franzese does, like, oh, well, I'm a rat, but nobody ever went to jail because of what I said. Fuck you, bitch. The only reason people never went to jail is because your information was never useful enough. It's not because you didn't give it. You did give the information. It just wasn't far enough. It just wasn't good enough information to put anybody in jail. And that is my problem with that man. My problem is that he walks around all fucking high and mighty and, oh, I am a godly man. Oh, I don't do this and I don't do that. And then, like, oh, I'm not really a rat because nobody really went to jail because of what I said. Fuck you. Okay, I'm listening. Go ahead. And thank you. Hopefully I appreciate it. To you too, Lisa. I'm waiting. I'm not going anywhere. I'm listening. What's up? Do dee do 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 dee do. Boom, 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 boom. Oh God, I hate you. Head, shoulders, knees, and toes. I wasn't even singing it. Abrels. So actually, if you go into my Anastasia video, I believe part 2, I did a whole segment about Abrels. So if you're, I mean, it sounds like you know about him, but if you want to hear me talk about Abrels, go, I'm pretty sure it's part 2. It's one of them, but like I talked about this man for like a half hour about Abrels, that fucking piece of shit. Abrels, for anybody who didn't catch the Anastasia video, he was a recruiter for Murder Inc. So Murder Inc. was a group that was centered around doing all the murders for the mafia at the time, like around the time that the commission was created and like the mafia was officially created. Now, they made Murder Inc. to do all the killing, and Abe Rells was a recruiter. He would go out and get the guys that would kill for Murder Inc. Now, Abe Rells got jammed up on some like heroin distribution or something, and he was about to go to jail. And he decided that he was going to rat everybody out. He had 3 people put to death. Literally 3 people lost their life because of the testimony that Abe Rells gave. He was about to testify against Albert Anastasia, and the day that he was going to testify against Anastasia, under the guard of 6 policemen, he fell out his window and died. He sent a couple of his friends to the electric chair and was going to do this to your guy, Albert Anastasia. Yeah, no, I definitely know. That guy fucking sucks. And Albert Anastasia is the one that had him killed. I don't know. So, like, it could have been him that had him killed. It could have been Albert Anastasia. But they did find... There was this rope that was, like, tied to a heating duct in the room that he was in, and then the rope was found next to him on the floor as well. So they say that it looks like he tried to escape, and then the rope didn't hold his weight, so then he fell and died. But yeah, the man, the canary that could sing but couldn't fly. Yeah, as I said, I did do a huge part of one of the parts of Anastasia, but the video, I did a 3-part video of Albert Anastasia. In one of those parts, I did go pretty in depth into Abe Rells. So if you are interested in hearing what I think about that, go check out the videos of Anastasia. But all right, guys, thank you so much for hanging out. I really appreciate it. I gotta go get this this stupid video recorded. Again, thanks so much for hanging out. I will see you guys later. Dana, you were so great tonight. It was a blast. You should do lives. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be doing lives more often. I love doing this. I love hanging out with you guys. So, all right. Good night, guys. Bye.